Hi and welcome to another Memories Made video. I'm Designer Jen Gallacher, and this month again we are focusing on design styles. And today we're going to talk about diagonal design. So first I'm starting with a sheet of pattern paper from the Volume 2 collection by Echo Park Paper. And then I have an 8.5 by 11 inch, maybe a little shorter, I did trim it a little bit, but this is a solid blue cardstock piece. And today I want to talk about diagonal design. And to illustrate that, I'm going to take this piece of twine. So the concept behind diagonal design is that rather than put the items in the center, or rather than put them at the top, the concept is that the elements will go in a diagonal line. So I'm going to pull this string taut and show you how you can do this. Now the way that I'm going to do it today is I'm going to take things from this top edge all the way down to this bottom edge. So the eye will follow from this top section clear down here. But you can do a couple of different things. You can actually place embellishments along the diagonal line like this, or you can keep the embellishments straight and simply follow a visual line. The diagonal can go any place. It can go several rows across, it can go a little bit, it can go a couple of diagonal ways, but the concept is that the embellishments and the elements are going to follow a diagonal line. You'll notice that predominantly my elements and my photos will follow this particular diagonal line as shown by the twine. So let's go ahead and get started creating our layout. So to help create this diagonal design, I'm going to off-center my cardstock sheet. And I will place that on the layout as such, and you'll notice that it is going to take up more of the space on the right than it does on the left. Again, this is to create a diagonal look on my page. Then on top of the blue cardstock, I'm going to take a sheet of white cardstock that I've trimmed, and I'm going to machine stitch around the perimeter with some sewing thread, and I'm going to use some yellow sewing thread. So let me go ahead and do that and show you what it looks like when I'm done. So you can see that that yellow thread shows up quite well on the end of that pattern paper, or rather cardstock. And we'll adhere that in the center of the blue. And then at the very bottom, I'm going to take a sheet of cardstock, and I've used the following border punch to create a notebook border. And I usually look for a new border punch about once or twice a year just to kind of mix it up. But there are certain ones that I use more frequently than others. And we'll go ahead and adhere this at the very bottom of the cardstock, and this shows you a little bit why I don't always machine stitch my paper directly to my layout, because sometimes I want to add elements later, or if I make a mistake then I'll have to tear up the entire page. Alright, to the layout I'm going to add a sheet of some Sweet Girl pattern paper. It has a yellow wood grain on the other side. And then I'm going to take some pink pattern paper from a fun collection from American Crafts, and it is called My Girl, and it inspired the colors on this particular layout, and we'll adhere them to the layout, leaving a little bit of a gap between the two papers. So I'll adhere the first one, but I want to leave a little bit of adhesive not quite touching the top because I'm going to add some additional embellishments to this piece. And we'll add this to the bottom. Actually, I'm going to move it down just a smidge. And yes, the smidge is the official term. So above here I want to have a little cluster of elements, and so I have pulled a couple of different items. This particular tag is from Crepe Paper. This is a tag from American Crafts, and this tiny yellow tag is also from the same collection here. And we will create just a small cluster of embellishments here. And if you've already stuck down your pattern paper, mine I can pull up a little bit before I stick everything all the way down. You can trim off the top of these items so that they fit. And then to give them a little bit more dimension, I'm going to add a yellow heart pin from Little Yellow Bicycle, and I will place that in my layout. You'll notice that the pin does not come out on the other side. That's because I carefully pin it through just these two layers of cardstock. Then I have a pink clothespin from Pebbles, And we'll add that to the yellow tag here. And then the photo I'm going to use is an older black and white photo of me, and I just changed it to black and white so that the colors in this layout would kind of take center stage and the photo would be a supportive element. This particular frame is from Pebbles, and to adhere it to your projects, you simply peel off the white backing that is covering the sticky adhesive. Make sure you don't pull away the adhesive. And you need to do it on both sides. Make sure your photo is facing upwards. And then you can peel off the rest of the stickers so that it is easy to close. Now sometimes the manufacturers don't include this kind of adhesive, so you might have to use your own adhesive to make it stick. And we'll go ahead and place this on the cluster. Then to the left of this photo frame, I'm going to use an exclusive wood veneer shape from Two Peas in a Bucket. And I'm going to take some of that yellow baker's twine that I used before, and I'm going to wrap it around the bottom edge of this card, wrap it about 3 times. And then to the actual twine, I'm going to add some jewelry tags. And I just got these at an office supply store. And to help them stay in place, I'll first do a loose knot, and then I'll thread them onto my twine. And you could stamp something on these if you wanted. You could add a date stamp or an image, or you can even die cut similar tags like this using your silhouette machine. And I have seen punches for tags as well, so whatever works for you. And we'll tie it into a bow. Now you could back this wood veneer on some cardstock if you wanted to give it a little bit different of a color. I'm going to just leave it plain and let that wood grain show through. Now to adhere this to my layout, I'm going to use some glue dots, as it is a little thicker, but I've found that the glue dots work just fine to hold it in place. I just add a few key spots of adhesive, and we'll slightly overlap the frame. And then we'll stick it down so it stays nice and tight. Now something fun that I did for this layout and to create the visual triangle is I took this pattern paper from the My Girl collection, and you'll see there's beautiful colored word bubbles, and they say a variety of things like hello, happy, and smile. And I fussy cut them, meaning I cut exactly around the edge of each element I wanted to use. And that is going to be the embellishment that I use for this page. And so I trimmed them out, and then I kind of started placing them around my layout to get a feel for how they would look. And again, remember, we're trying to create a diagonal line. So I want the embellishments here to lead the eye down here. So as we place them, we need to think about that. So we'll start with the big hello. And we'll add this smile in gray. And we're going to overlap the ampersand wood card. And then the yellow hello will go again at the top here. And then I wanted to add a few of some sequins in the matching colors. So these are from Teresa Collins, and I'll just use a glue dot to place these. And again, this will help draw the eye down the layout and give me that design triangle that I'm going for. We'll overlap the hello here, a slightly lighter blue, and then happy underneath that. And I'm trying not to cover up any of the word. I'm just covering some of the word bubble, but not the word. And then hello we can put down here. And again, let's add some of the sequins to the bottom. So we're pulling the eye down to the bottom of the page as well. And if they don't stick, you can use a stronger adhesive. You can use whatever helps your sequins stick. Give you a closer view so you can see at the top and here at the bottom how it looks. Then I'm going to add some tape, and this is some gray tape from Doodlebug, and it's a great gray chevron, and this helps bring in some of the gray from the word bubbles. And we'll put it at the bottom here. And then they also have on the same product packaging, they have a slightly thicker and solid dot tape to choose from. And I like to sometimes use a solid and a more see-through looking tape. Then before I go any further, I am going to use a stamped sentiment, and this will serve as my journaling. And this particular sentiment is from a Technique Tuesday stamp set that says the things that matter most. And I love sometimes substituting my journaling for a stamp set. And I'm going to use some Memento ink. This is London Fog. It's a nice gray, which again matches the gray word bubbles. And we'll stick it on the bottom here. Press firmly. As you can see, it's so great when Allie creates these stamps because she has such a nice handwriting. And then for the title, I'm going to use some thicker stickers, and we'll spell out family. Now the way I do this is I figure how many letters are in the title I'm going to use. So F-A-M-I-L-Y, so there's 6 stickers. Therefore, it means the M and the I are the center of the sticker, or rather the center of the title. So I usually will start with the center when I'm doing a title like this. And don't push it down all the way. Let it sit up a little bit so that if it isn't working, the centering isn't working, or you make a mistake when you're spelling out the title, you can easily pull it up. But I almost always try to center the title so that it matches the centering and placement of my journaling. And I don't want to cover up that happy word bubble either, the yellow one right here. So once I have the placement how I want it, then I can push it down, and this is the point that I would come back and dot the I. I would wait to dot the I until I had the placement exactly where I want it. So it says family, the things that matter most. And I want to make sure both of these tags show. So there you have a layout, again, that follows the diagonal. The embellishments are all over the page, but the similar embellishments come right down the center of my layout. Now, if you wanted a layout that shows this design a little bit more, you might eliminate some of these outside things and simply place just items down the page like this. Again, remember, you can have your diagonal be on any part of the layout, and the diagonal can be at whatever degree you want. It can be a very severe degree like this, it can be a more subtle degree, and only part of the design can be diagonal as well. So there are a lot of choices. Thank you for joining me for today's Memories Made video. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss out on this weekly video series.